everyone. Welcome to Dodo Biscuits. Everyone's here this week. I am Joseph Mendelia. I'm here with my co-hosts Dan Hoffman and David Rarichich.
Hi.
And our special guest today is John Bardong. Say hi, John.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to get right into it. Our first topic this week. What was it? I don't even remember.
First topic was Facebook, and Marvel was the second, I think.
All right. Yeah.
And then the
Smash Mouth, I
90s
believe.
bands. Smash Mouth, yeah.
Facebook privacy. We'll start with that one.
Oh, God.
So Facebook's been making the news. They're,
Everything's
because of
leaking out.
their lack of data protection for people.
That and
Basically,
Not really so much data protection. It's
basically they
looking at
take all your personal information and they mine it and they sell it to advertisers. And,
They've been doing that. That's their whole business model.
right.
Yeah,
And
I thought it was
then-
more the
Yeah, it's about the whistleblower, isn't it?
the
lady that was
whistleblower as well.
that they weren't doing anything to like impede like all of like have everybody have their same everybody can have views. They were impeding like certain views that they felt were toxic to them.
Anger leads to clicks and what do they call that? What's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember the word now. Engagement.
Yes.
The more they anger you, the more engagement they get, and when they get engagement, then there's advertisers, and it's all clicks, and so their algorithm is based on making people outraged, and that led to a lot of misinformation, here and there for both sides.
Okay, so the theory is misinformation is being spread through various hate groups and things like that through Facebook. But
they're fueling like a lot of
leaning into the conspiracy theorists, right?
Yeah,
Well,
fires.
that on top of like fake profiles also distributing this stuff too, because I've gotten like a few hits from like friend requests from people I don't even know. So
Yes,
my favorite has been so far like someone messaged me like, oh, you want to invest in Bitcoin kind of deal. It's usually advertising fake profiles on that thing.
Facebook is toxic even without all this whistleblowing, to be honest with you. I've learned more about people that I don't want to know than I care to admit. And this is not even anything about politics. It's just
that's the point of social media, right? To stay in touch with people in almost the laziest way possible. You don't have to pick up the phone and call. You can check in on that friend at high school just by clicking on their profile. Oh,
I don't think any of my high school people want me to contact them.
Exactly. That's
my other concern too is
covers it. You don't have to have.
My other concern too is how much. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, my other concern too is like Facebook owns a lot of what is it? Remember when WhatsApp and Instagram went down?
Yeah,
I think it was like one other thing. Facebook
I've never even
owns
heard of that.
a huge chunk of that. Like they own WhatsApp and Instagram, and it's all underneath their one server.
It's all monopoly that they're trying. They want to break up.
Oh yeah.
Because they have too much power.
I don't know how you can monopolize something that's free.
You can monopolize it because it's not free. You pay with your identity. Well, you're the product.
You don't have to give out that information. You can be
a certain amount of information to sign up for Facebook. Sure. And anything you do on the internet goes into an algorithm. There's cookies on your computer. You can't use Facebook without divulging stuff about what you're doing.
Right.
It's impossible.
Yep.
Yeah.
I could be looking up like window blinds right now and then go onto Facebook and then suddenly got like 50 ads for window blinds. That's what happens.
Oh yeah, all over the place. Always.
I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the cartoon series on DVD. And I've been watching it, and now I keep getting ads for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like constantly. It's really annoying.
The other that's just how Facebook is designed.
But I didn't look it up on Facebook. I bought it on, I bought it on Amazon or something.
Anywhere on
And-
the internet, you touch,
Oh, that's the other data.
you leave your fingerprints all over anywhere
Yeah.
where if you Google something about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Facebook knows, Instagram knows, Twitter knows, Google knows, everybody knows. It
Mhm.
literally it goes in and it funnels to everyone else, and it's like a shotgun blast of information that's like, well, I like the Ninja Turtles. Go up to somebody, boom. Everybody that's in a range in that you didn't even have to hit the person that you're the thing you're targeting. It is literally going to just spread out and hit everybody at the same time, and then
Well,
they're like,
sometimes
this guy
it's like
likes
that.
Ninja Turtles.
You can
Yeah,
Yeah,
always
it's like that general
choose-
tag attached to it.
You could always choose not
Yep.
to enroll in the service. You don't have to use Facebook. You don't have
Well,
to.
yeah, the only way to
Twitter.
win Facebook
no.
is to not play.
No. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah. Thank you,
but
Joshua.
it's Google, it's Firefox, it's like anywhere, anything you touch on the internet, your fingerprints like right there. You don't have to worry about the cookies or this, that, or but they'll always be like, oh well, he visited this site. Maybe he likes stuff about this site. Maybe he likes about this. Like I was looking up fabrics for a week, and it was just for like basically my cosplay stuff. I would get more and more cosplay ads than like regular ads. Then I was looking at like, I think it was like something that relates to the end, the last topic we have. But I was looking up stuff for like, or I was listening to videos or listening to music of like Weezer, Green Day, Slipknot, and like all the '90s bands that I was like, oh, I remember having like listening to these guys. Let me listen to them again. And then I just had nothing but like my Facebook page was littered with videos from Green Day, Weezer, Slipknot, and like any of the bands that like touch them in any ways.
I mean,
It was like,
that's the innocent, that's the
Yeah.
the more mundane, the more benign activity through Facebook, just showing what you like.
yeah,
The whole controversy is that it's actively running algorithms to make sure that you're engaged in
You're
one
pissed
way or
off.
another.
yeah,
So yeah, it's going to keep showing you those ads for Green Day, for Weezer, because it wants you to join a group, and then it's going to stop. But then when you like go to something that's maybe slightly controversial, they're going to try to get you triggered,
yeah, exactly.
and that's how they keep people on site. And then you go and you make comments, and then suddenly there's this big.
But isn't there a degree of free speech involved that you should be able to start a group
It's not a
and
free speech issue,
say
Joe. It's not a free
whatever
speech.
you
You
want?
say whatever
I
you
mean,
want, but you have terms and conditions. It's a private company.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you
I mean,
have
it's not
you
even
don't
about.
want to you don't want to spew hate. Nobody here wants to spew hate, but
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
shouldn't people have a right to kind of express that, however right or wrong it is?
They can, and they're encouraging you to do that. That's the whole problem.
Yeah.
They're trying to rile you up.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're trying to keep you from saying, like, sometimes it's like they're trying to keep you from saying, like, if like I'm back. I'm like, I definitely will say I'm vaccinated. I'm like, whatever. Like, but I was like, I did it for this
Every
reason.
time.
Like, they'll have somebody where it's like, I did it for basically my fiance is type 1 diabetic. I was like, I'm doing it because she was at risk, like majorly at risk, and my job is literally people are staring like at my face, like right here. And it's like, you didn't get me my package on time. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, you are spitting on me, and you're just spreading disease on me. But it's like I can't go on a website and say like, because like this about like an go and say like anti-vax stuff on anything, and they'll be like, well, that's misinformation. That's this. You can't say that. Well, I like this happened to me. Like, this is my experience. Why can't I say my experience? And then like Facebook will come in and just like going up that like say like, yeah, because like if I back like basically
Right. How do
the
they
vaccination gave me a third arm.
how do they regulate what's accurate? Now this
Yeah, like,
country
But they don't.
as a whole doesn't regulate what you can say. You won't get arrested. You say whatever you want. You won't get arrested as long as you're not
Yeah.
inciting violence. And it's even hard to prove when you're inciting violence on top of that.
It's
Yeah.
not even about that.
Not
The
right.
whole thing
But
is
then
that
you
they're
have-
trying to keep the dialogue going in the most negative way possible.
60
Mhm.
seconds.
Absolutely.
You just can't. You could have a viewpoint, and then they'll make sure. And this has happened to me. They'll show you stuff from the opposing viewpoint
Mhm.
just to get you to comment.
You're like, wait a minute.
I must
Yeah, it's
not
like,
have
wait a
any
minute.
opinions because this actually hasn't happened to me.
Wow.
I haven't really had that.
Most of your crap has like a missing. I always get a flag for a Facebook checker on half your shit.
Mhm.
I usually just complain about Star Wars though, so online.
Well,
That's probably
you
why.
do have a couple things that I was like, I laugh about, but then it's
Yeah.
like, I get a fact check with it. It's like, I think you said something about, oh God, I don't remember what it was, but it was something that it was just like, it was riding the line of like being a very good, it was a good joke,
Yeah,
but it rid the line a little too far.
6 seconds.
And the thing just was like, fact check, it's missing some information because this person, like, did you know it in 1983? This guy
Alright.
was blah, 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 blah.
Time's up. Next
Time's up.
topic.
Well, I just want to say something really quick about Instagram too. There's also controversy about Instagram because they're trying to appeal to a younger set, and then they had the whistleblower has said that Instagram encourages bad self-esteem in girls. So that's the other big thing too.
8-year-old girls.
I mean, that's always been there.
They're
any
trying to
social
market
media.
children though.
I'm not saying
adults.
it's right or wrong. It's just it's always existed.
Yeah, well, but they were trying to make a specific Instagram just for kids, and they put a quash on that because of all this. Thank God.
Like, luckily, it kind of coincides because Instagram is owned by Facebook.
Yeah,
so it's even better because it's like, ugh.
All right. Next topic is Marvel television shows.
I'll probably be talking about less during this segment because I have not seen any Marvel shows.
Okay, no spoilers. So there are no spoilers about any of them.
I mean, if you spoiler, just wave your hands in the air and I'll put my ears over my hands.
Well, Dave, are you a big Marvel fan? Even are you?
Dave, I can't wave my hands.
I mean, the fact that you haven't seen any of the shows kind of says
wave this hand.
Yeah,
kind of says like they've been out for a while now. It's not like a recent show that's been running that we'd spoil. Like WandaVision's been out for over a year, and
I know I'm trying to watch all the
Falcon and Captain, Winter Soldier, or
just like it just ended about maybe like a few months ago. I know Loki got up around the middle of June, and then the What If series just ended like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So Dave, do you not like these shows? Or you just busy? And
I don't comic book that much.
Okay.
I mean, I have seen a few of the Marvel universe movies, and I did like them. And I actually intend to watch all the movies at the same time. But you got to understand something. There's just so much overload.
There is.
With shows. It's
I will agree with that.
It's
basically
overwhelming.
Okay. So you look at Star Wars. Star Wars, you would argue
Star Wars.
they oversaturated their market. Because they were doing a movie a year, right? They were trying to do
when I was a kid, you got to understand something. When a Star Wars movie came out, it was a big deal because there was only 3, and it came out years apart, and then it ended, and then that was it. Then there was a Christmas special, of course, and then the Ewoks cartoon.
They had the live action Ewoks.
What? Yeah, there was an Ewoks cartoon in the 80s.
There was.
Yeah.
There was also Droid.
Wicked board game. It was called Wicked the Ewok, the board game.
And there was Shadows of the Empire as well.
Well, that was a
video game.
And a book.
Dash Rendar.
They actually are coming out with a re-release of Shadows of the Empire, by the way.
Point being, though, Star Wars, they tried to churn it out like the Marvel films, where Marvel does 2 or 3 movies every year.
Yeah.
But the thing about Marvel movies is they have different stories, different characters to focus on. And I think it's easier for them than for Star Wars to do.
That's fine. I think people love it, and it's from what I've heard, the quality is consistent.
Yeah,
I'm just not. I don't want to sound like one of those people, but I don't watch much TV. I do, but I don't.
I do
watch TV, but just not as much as I used to. I just don't have time.
All right, so let's start with.
I have all the time in the world now.
I know it's
it's terrible. The first day I came home from this.
I wish I had like a marathon. Then I have watching The Office again or Parks and Rec.
Oh God, my friend actually
Red Dwarf.
Did what was it? He just did an Office reunion thing where they had it in Pennsylvania, or actually no, it was in the actual town that they shot The Office.
Scranton.
They had a reunion where he got to meet all the people, and it was like he met like what was Dwight's like love interest that he was like, you're gonna have my baby, and that's it. Angela. He met Angela, And it was hilarious because like he had a whole big thing that he talked to her about, and it was like, she just did that. It's like, yeah, she just
They have
said
a
all
podcast
that.
that's really good. Like she's actually very funny in real life.
Oh no,
Well, she was
she's
funny on the
hilarious.
show. She just played the straight man.
But she's funny. Like in real life, she's like actually kind of dirty and not dirty, but
because you do have to be a straight man. You have to be kind of funny, believe it or not. You can't just be serious. You have to know how to compliment the funny guy.
Oh, her real name really is Angela Kinsey. That's right. Okay.
You know, like Harold Ramis was the funniest straight man like ever, if you think about it.
Yeah. Actually, they just
what did Dave say? Dave said something.
Oh, I say he's not. I don't think he's the funniest straight man, but he is pretty funny.
Okay.
George Burns is the funniest straight man.
Yeah, I would have to say George Burns. Like it would be like either that or God.
He's working off at Gracie.
Stephen Wright. The guy, like he just has
he's not part of a duo though.
Yeah, he's never been a part of a thing. I know David Spade was for a while. He was one of the better complimenting actors towards like Chris Farley, Adam Sandler, and all them. But like when Grown Ups came out, it's like, dude, you're trying too hard. But actually, speaking of Ghostbusters, I have to definitely throw this in. They screened the whole entire movie for Ghostbusters Afterlife at New York Comic Con.
How'd that go? And I'm sorry I missed that.
I picked the wrong year to say no. I don't feel like going.
You didn't hear any
day for week for a surgery.
That's
about Marvel.
What did they do? They just said it was a Ghostbusters panel and then surprised everyone with the film.
Pretty much.
Oh, that.
Here's the movie.
Ivan and Jason were there, and they were just talking, and they had all the whole cast, the full cast, and they're sitting there just talking, and he goes, "Hey, wait, okay, so guys, we're gonna cut the feed because they had it all on a live feed. Everything was going, and then all of a sudden you hear them go, "No, that's enough of that. So we got the new Ghostbusters movie, and we're gonna play it right now. So we're gonna cut the live feed. Sorry, everyone that paid the money for the live feed. We'll see you later." Click. Everybody's like, "What? What?"
That's brutal.
I've never had so many freaking phone calls in my entire life. Did you know? No.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't know.
That hall holds a few thousand people too. So those are actually people who would have spent money to see them.
That's the reward for skirting the COVID guidelines and going to see it live.
But actually, there wasn't that many people at Comic-Con. I think that they only filled that thing up to half capacity, which only holds about 400 to 300, 350 to 400 people. So
you got to be careful with those screenings. Like I saw like an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode early, going back to Marvel TV actually, at Comic-Con, and they had like these guys in these big black suits. They were like watching with like these like night vision binoculars, and they were ready to just pounce on you and beat you up if you whipped out that camera phone.
Oh, they don't mess around when it comes to that.
And we're talking like they played it like a day early, the episode. Like, the world will end if you took a picture from the show too soon.
Yeah.
So
there's some people that get real serious, like that kind of stuff. Even if you were like an extra for making of the shows too, they find any cameras on you, you're ejected immediately through security. Like doing Mrs. Maisel, I was an extra for that show, and it's like someone pulled out the camera. Next thing you know, you out escorted out by like 5 security cars, like immediately ejected and has compromised.
They take those NDSs really freaking careful. Like they probably had people signing on the way in an NDS. So right.
Well, that's to say they won't talk. I can't imagine that they can convince 1,000 people to keep their mouths shut.
Oh yeah, no, they won't have people keep their mouths shut. But at the same time, they'll have.
If you give enough away, you could get sued, and you don't have your lawyers are not going to be as good as Sony's lawyers.
No, they will.
Well, that's what like the
pull your pants down.
All right, 2 minutes.
Non-disclosure acts. So that's what those are for.
All right. All right, let's move on then to our last topic.
We didn't talk about any of the Marvel shows.
We did.
Yeah, we didn't talk
That's
about
all right.
it. Marvel show
We
really
went
quick.
right into like
It happens.
Ghostbusters and everybody else.
Smash Mouth singer retires.
Ooh.
Here, this is
That's news to me.
from NBC News. Lead
That's
singer Steve
big.
Harwell is apparently retiring after a controversial concert in upstate New York on Saturday that found him slurring his words and making vaguely threatening comments toward the audience. He had been battling health problems for
Was he having a
several
stroke?
years, and the band had played some recent shows with a stand-in vocalist. He's 54
Was he-
years old, and then it goes on from there.
I'm just
Oh my
surprised they were
God.
still around.
Yeah.
They were big for like those like 97, 98, and then everyone's like, okay, go to hell.
Mhm. Yeah, they basically they had two. They were the 2-hit wonder. Actually, no, I don't even know. I think they were,
3
yeah.
hits.
No.
Walking on the
Can you-
Sun, All
Okay.
Star. When the
Yeah.
morning comes was actually my favorite song of theirs that I could tolerate the most actually.
They
Then
did
that
the,
whole album.
I'm a Believer cover. That was a
I'm
big
a
hit.
Believer
Yeah, that was
cover,
it. That's
Shrek
the, that's the only.
Wonders, Smash Mouth.
That was the only two that I could think of. Like was
No.
what was it? All Star and friggin' Shrek. And the I
Yeah,
don't
basically
remember.
from Shrek.
I'm a Believer. That was it. I
Walking on
could
the
only think of it
Sun,
as the
When
Shrek
Morning
song.
Comes.
Yeah, I
Couldn't
mean,
tell you.
They were also in the movie Rat Race at the end. No sorry for the spoilers in case you were gonna watch that.
where they did 6 albums from 97 to 2006, and
I know that.
then they made another 2 albums 2012 and 2018.
Smash,
What?
that is crazy.
So it looks
Smash
like they-
Mouth suffered from overexposure when they were popular.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's
They had
kind of like
that
Spin
retro
Doctors back
sound.
in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm. Like Limp Bizkit and like Limp Bizkit, Corn, and like anybody that was on that Family Value, like that first Family Value tour. Like another guy from Rammstein has been like making headway now because he's been doing a lot of weirder stuff than he usually does, which is
Oh yeah,
I-
Till Lindemann. Yeah, I saw it. He's been doing his own thing lately, and it's just like
yeah.
he's off in his own world kind of deal.
Oh yeah, he's good. I don't know. Like it's I don't attest it to being weird. I just attest it to him being German, and that's it.
No,
Which I don't know if that makes
You have to
sense.
understand this
German,
guy.
the harshness of
No,
the
no,
German
there was
language.
there's this thing. I could go on another topic about this. He actually drilled a hole through the side of his mouth. Just get an LED light in there for the music video of
What?
Steve DeVay. And it's like, they're like, oh yeah, I was wondering. No. He actually got his side of his cheek pierced and run an LED light through it. It's like the guy's a little nuts sometimes. He has to suffer for his art.
Oh,
But
Oh,
that's
that's
I
perfect.
digress.
All right,
Oh.
a little bit of research here. Harwell
Oh,
was
can't get enough of you, baby. That's the other song.
That's true. That's from Can't
Can't
Hardly
get
Wait.
enough of you. That stupid song. That was
Um,
Can't Hardly Wait.
oh,
Harwell was
yeah.
diagnosed with cardiomyopathy, which led
delicious.
to acute Wernicke encephalopathy.
There you go.
Thank
There we
you.
go. The Zoom tight.
Um,
You
Down
get
to
a
that.
star
So-
for this one, Joe.
yeah,
Poetics.
basically, it's associated with long-term alcohol abuse. He had a son who had died in 2001 from
I'm
leukemia
sad now for
at
making fun
age
of him.
Ooh.
at age
Oh.
6 months. So I'm sure that was a factor in maybe his choices
I
in
don't want to
life.
make fun of the son. I'll make fun of him more.
Well,
than,
no, I'm
no,
just pointing out
Jesus.
stuff in his life here.
Well,
The only thing
alcohol abuse.
the only thing I think about when I think about Smash Mouth is that Saturday Night Live bit where the little girl's in the bedroom and the parents put her to sleep, and every time they leave, Smash Mouth comes out and starts singing the song. She's like, I don't want to sing the song to you because then it'll be stuck in your head, and you don't want that. So
Maybe we do.
Somebody once told- I always sing All Star like when they
Yep.
because that's a big meme now.
yeah.
The
It's like,
Shrek.
I mean, they were playing in upstate New York.
I seen this Shrek meme.
If anyone can find out where, I'd like to know. I mean, there's like levels of success with bands that hit a certain like
The big sip
high.
stage.
Like if you're playing in upstate New York, you're usually not like you're not really playing New York. You're just kind of
There.
it's like a mid-sized hall.
You're there.
It's
Apparently-
like playing Roseland Theater versus playing like Madison Square Garden.
It was at the
Yeah.
Big Sip Beer Fest in Bethel, New York. And apparently he could be seen slurring his words, threatening the audience, and seemingly giving a Nazi salute to the crowd.
Ugh.
So he was losing his mind. When the 90s were your heyday, it's hard to come back from that.
Late
Yeah.
90s, early 2000s. It was a rough time for everybody.
I think
Yeah,
9/11
well, I know,
killed that band.
Yeah, I know. What was
Bigger
it?
and better things.
Was it? I know. Was it recently? Was it Fred Durst looked like a grandpa escaping from the mental institution or the nursing home. I remember that. That was everybody friggin'
Yeah.
threw that guy's picture up for a while. I was like,
Fred Durst was crazy in the 90s too.
Yep. Well,
I remember he
more or
did.
less-
That's just
He did an ad for SegaNet back when the Dreamcast was popular, and everything about that screamed douchey.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, everything about
douchey.
Limp Bizkit screams douchey, right?
It's toxic masculinity in music form. I'm not a fan myself, but
no,
I can
new
see
metal.
There's some songs that were good
Got
with
some,
them. But then, like everything, they lost all my respect when when one of their albums came out. They were like one of their, I think it was the guitarist left or somebody left the band, and they were trying out people for the band in like all different Sam Ashes and Sam Goodies, and Sam Goodies, and Guitar Centers, and yeah, so they were trying all these guitars, and they basically gave you a form to sign. That if your lyric or whatever you wrote and gave to them to play and try to be in the band, if it got like, if they actually liked that and they were like, oh yeah, we like, even if they don't pick you as the guitarist, they're able to use that whole whatever like you wrote.
They're going to have amateurs write their songs for them.
That's messed up.
So
my guess would be is that they were probably trying to protect I don't think they were outright trying to steal music from people, but they were just trying to protect themselves from someone saying you stole something from me because I played it in an audition.
And actually, like the next album had a bunch of their like all the people like that tried out, because then the guitarist Miraculous was like, yeah, I didn't like where I was going, so I just came back. So then anybody that was trying out, they basically got rid of. They're like, oh yeah, sorry, we'll keep you on the back burner.
Maybe they were out of ideas.
I mean, Joe's probably right, but at the same time, it's very convenient to be able to lift someone's riff without having to give them credit or compensation.
True.
True. Those bastards.
It looked very fishy.
I was never a big fan of the whole toxic, angry, new metal 90s masculinity, because everyone was just so angry.
Oh yeah.
Listen,
I like happy. I'm a happy pop kind of guy.
Well, that's what it was with Facebook, right? Everyone's just so very angry these days.
Everyone's angry all the time. I'm a happy kind of guy.
Circles right back to Facebook.
Right.
Everybody
but
needs to be angry.
And that kind of music leans into it, just like that Woodstock documentary on HBO talks about most of the bands were new metal bands, and kind of what was popular in Woodstock 99, the late 90s, and how that music was kind of a factor in the crowd that they got and all the rioting that broke out. On top of the $4 waters and the $4 beers.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It wasn't the fact that they were overcharging shit.
Metal anger. It was bringing in people who are angry young men. Yeah. This affected middle class white youth anger, rage, hormones. Just started a fire.
You take a bunch of young people, you throw them in some place, throwing
angry young women out there,
throwing a lot of heat and.
Gotten cracked in the face by a nice right hook from a lady.
Oh, I'm sure there was some angry ladies there too. I'm just generalizing my gender.
60 seconds. Does Smash Mouth have a future without Steve Harwell? That's the question.
I didn't know they had a future now.
I don't think so. It feels taking the course of the rest of the bands that are like maybe 30 some odd years old.
Well, it'd be like Journey, right? Journey without Steve Perry still tours.
When was the last Journey album you bought?
Not talking about albums. It's the tours that really make the money now anyway.
When was the last Journey concert you went to?
I don't go to Journey concerts because it's not Steve Perry.
Yeah.
Some people do. Concert you went to?
It's like going to see Bruce Springsteen, but then Springsteen doesn't show. It's just somebody filling in.
But
like left the E Street Band and
cover band
and some amateur musicians. It's like Westbury Music Fair bands at this point.
Yeah.
If for the listeners who might be from out of state, Westbury Music Fair has a lot of older, not as sellout bands in terms of like I saw the Go-Go's there. They were great.
Steely Dan.
The Monkees played there before Davey died.
All right,
Mhm.
time's
Supposed
up.
to play there, and before Peter died too.
All right,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is our show. Thank you, everyone. I was being stricter with the 10-minute guidelines this week.
Jesus.
Real sharp on a half hour.
Everything tight.
Jesus.
Yeah,
He's running a tight ship now.
I
yeah.
didn't try to make any bad jokes this week, so
It's
Yeah.
tough
Saved
to
editing.
it's tough to
Thank
edit. All right, so
I know.
anyone promoting anything? Anything happening?
I'll start with Dan.
Oh, I'm broken right now. So only thing I have going for me is November 5th. I'm going to be appearing at the Broadway Comedy Club in New York City at 10:30, which I'm not very happy that it's 10:30 because I realized after the fact that it's at 10:30. And also, I know my friend Mike Nicoli, he has a bunch. Like, check his page out because he has a bunch of shows coming up. He also has an open mic night over at the Brokerage at 10:30 at same time. Brokerage 10:30.
What day? What day are you
And,
playing?
Well, I'm playing on it's a Friday at 10:30.
What's
So,
the
but
date?
November 5th.
Okay.
Twice, right?
And
Did
I'll
he
be
say it?
appearing-
I don't remember him saying
Yeah, I
it.
said it like twice.
All right.
I'll be
That's it.
appearing on Hollywood Squares on the week of November 15th. But in reality, if you want to follow me on Twitter, Dave TV Games, TeeVeeGames, Dave TV Games put the at the beginning. You know how to use Twitter. Idiots.
My first feature film dumped is an official selection of the New York Long Island Film Festival, which is playing October 21st through October 24th. Dumped is not actually playing, but we were nominated for Best Feature Comedy and Best Ensemble Cast. So
my Twitter name and my thing here, so I don't have to spell anymore.
Okay.
Sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And then also November 6th, my short film Retirement Disaster will be at the Outer Limits in Franklin Square, which you guys can check out.
Joe, will this movie also be like on the internet that people could watch in case they can't get out there?
No, you can check it out. Dumped, you can see just you can find the trailers, and Retirement Disaster. I have no idea. I'm going to distribute that after it gets into the festivals.
Oh, okay.
Right.
You're not going to save it for like on YouTube or anything like that?
I don't know yet. I'm not sure.
By request only. How about that? Email Joe.
Maybe I'll tack it on as a special feature on other DVDs. And
Joe
Arch,
at that's his email.
I was almost got away with not having to edit anything.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Joe.
I'm kidding.
I was ready to spit my drink out because I heard the name, the title, and this and that, and I'm like, don't spit it out, never on camera.
There's nothing going on right now. Still follow me on
I took a
Damn it,
nap before.
Archduke. Right now I'm trying to hear back for an art piece that's been entered into a jury contest. See what happens with that, and yeah, pretty much about it. And work's just busy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I like to play with toys.